Walk down the cleaning aisle of any hardware store and you will see them. Small white tubs of crystals, $12, $15, $18 a piece. You buy one, take it home, set it in your damp basement or your closet or your boat. A few weeks later, the crystals are gone, melted into a tub of liquid at the bottom, and you throw the whole thing in the trash and go buy another, and another, and another. $40, $60, $80 a year, every year, for a tub of salt and a plastic bowl. There's a certain rhythm to dealing with damp closets and musty basements. You buy one of those moisture tubs, set it on a shelf, and wait as the weeks pass. The crystals inside quietly disappear, replaced by a slosh of water at the bottom. Then comes the part that never sits right with me. You toss the whole thing, plastic, leftover brine, and all, straight into the trash. Next time it rains, or the humidity creeps up, you're back at the store, wallet out, picking up another tub that's really just more of the same. It is not just the money, though that adds up fast, $12, $15 a piece, sometimes more. It is the waste, all that plastic designed to be thrown away once the salt inside finishes its job. The container doesn't get reused, it doesn't become a tool you can count on. It just leaves with the water it collected, one more bit of trash for the landfill. Meanwhile, the damp keeps coming back, and so does the expense. Every closet, every basement, every camper or gun safe with a moisture problem turns into a small, repeating bill. And the only thing that changes is how much you're willing to spend chasing dry air. There's no built-in fix, no way to make the process more useful or less wasteful, unless you start to question why the whole setup is disposable in the first place. Calcium chloride appears again and again on the labels of moisture control tubs, spelled out on ingredient lists and safety sheets. This is the substance at work, quietly drawing water from the air in closets and pantries. The rest is packaging, plastic, a label, sometimes a hint of fragrance. In hardware stores, the same chemical sits in bulk bags in the pool supply or ice melt section, sold for about $6 per 50-pound sack. The chemistry doesn't change between the branded tub and the plain bag. Both rely on calcium chloride's ability to absorb moisture, whether poured into a bucket or scattered on a sidewalk. The difference is price. Branded tubs can cost 8 to 10 times more than the raw material. The markup pays for convenience, not for a better result. The salt inside doesn't know if it came from a pool aisle or a moisture tub. It will do its job wherever it lands. There is no secret formula or old world method at play, just a straightforward chemical reaction, repackaged for the home aisle. For anyone tired of buying new tubs and tossing out plastic, the label tells the real story. Calcium chloride is the engine, and the rest is just marketing. The shelf offers a choice. Pay for a branded container or think like a thrifty investigator and buy the salt itself. There's a moment once the calcium chloride has turned from dry crystals to a puddle of salty water when most folks figure the story is over. The tub looks spent, the job's done, and out it goes with the trash. But here's the honest truth. That brine isn't the end of the line. The salt hasn't disappeared or lost its punch. It's just holding on to the water it pulled from the air. If you pour off the liquid and heat what's left, the water steams away and the calcium chloride is ready to go again. This isn't magic or some secret passed down in a family Bible. It's modern chemistry, plain and simple. And while there's nothing Amish about baking a batch of salty crystals in the oven, the real connection is in the mindset. Use what you have, waste nothing, and don't pay twice for the same thing. Of course, there's a bit of care involved. That brine is tough on metal and can ruin shelves or floors if it spills. Keep it away from kids and pets. It will burn skin and mouths if they get into it. When it's time to dry out the salt, use a glass baking dish, not metal, and crack a window or run the fan. The only thing leaving your oven should be water vapor, not fumes or a sour smell. I won't claim this trick will fix a flooded basement or replace a real dehumidifier if you've got water pouring in. But for closets, campers, and those stubborn damp corners, it's a tool that keeps working as long as you treat it right. I'd like to hear about the dampest spots in your home. Drop a comment with your trouble zone, and if you give this method a try, let me know your climate and how much water you pull out. Next time, I'll talk about the old ways, lime-washed cellars, open windows, and how folks managed moisture before chemicals ever hit the shelves. A bucket, a colander, and a bag of calcium chloride, there is nothing fancy about it. The whole trick comes down to giving the crystals a dry spot above and a place for the water to go below. I take a regular bucket and set a colander or any perforated insert right over it. The dry salt goes in the colander, and as it pulls moisture from the air, that water drips down into the bucket underneath. No need for special containers or gadgets. Just keep the setup simple. One path for the runoff, nothing more. The real care comes in handling what is left behind. Once the salt turns to a puddle, what you have is a strong, salty brine. That liquid will eat through metal shelves, stain floors, and corrode just about anything it touches. I always wear gloves and eye protection when dealing with it, no exceptions. It is not something you want on your skin, and you definitely do not want children or pets anywhere near it. If you spill, mop it up with plenty of water right away and never pour it down a drain without checking your local rules. It is safer to collect it and dispose of it with solid trash if possible. When it is time to bring the salt back to life, I pour the wet crystals into a glass baking dish. Glass is key here. Metal pans can rust or pit, and the salt is tough on most surfaces. I spread the crystals out in a thin layer, set the oven to somewhere between 200 and 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and make sure there is good air flow in the kitchen. A cracked window or a running fan is enough. The only thing coming off during this step is water vapor, but it is best to keep the air moving. After about half an hour, I give the salt a stir so everything dries evenly, then let it finish for another 30 minutes or so. Once it cools, the crystals are ready to use again. I store them in a sealed plastic container, out of reach of children and pets. This is not a miracle fix for every wet basement or a replacement for a real dehumidifier if you have leaks or flooding. But for closets, pantries, campers, or any small space that always feels a little too damp, it is a simple, honest tool that keeps working as long as you treat it right. If you try this out, let me know where your dampest spot is and how much water you collect. Next time I will share some of the old ways, lime-washed walls, open windows, and how folks managed moisture before anyone ever heard of calcium chloride. There is a clear dividing line when it comes to what this calcium chloride trick can handle. It shines in places like closets, small basements, boats, campers, gun safes, and pantries. Anywhere the air gets stale and musty. But the problem is not gallons of water pouring in. That is the honest truth. If you are dealing with leaks, standing water, or a truly wet basement, you need a powered dehumidifier or a sump pump. No pile of salt, no matter how cheap, can keep up with a flood or a broken foundation drain. This method is for those everyday damp corners, the kind that ruin shoes, fog up gun safes, or leave your pantry smelling like an old sponge. If you give it a try, I want to hear about the dampest spot in your house. Leave a comment with your trouble zone, and if you use the calcium chloride setup, let me know your climate and how much water you collect. Down the road, I will dig into the old ways, ventilated cellars, lime-washed walls, and how folks used to keep things dry before chemicals were ever part of the story. I'll say it plain. This isn't some old Amish trick, just the same crystals you've been buying in throwaway tubs, now used with honesty and less waste. Don't let kids or pets near it, and mind the brine on surfaces. Try it, ventilate your kitchen, use glass, and share your results below. Next time, we'll talk about lime-washed cellars.